Well, you've heard of the big three in the 1911 semi-custom market. You've got Wilson Combat, you've got Nighthawk Custom, and you've got Ed Brown. And you can throw Les Baer in there too. Les Baer makes a quality product as well for a very reasonable price. But yeah, this was purchased this 13 years ago. It's one of my favorite pistols. No question about it. Nose were clear. It's a handsome pistol. No frills. I knew when I saw it in one of the gun magazines, the second I see one, I'm going to buy one. And it didn't take too long. I found one at a local dealer. And, you get into these, you're going to get a little sticker shock, particularly nowadays. But this is 13 years ago. That was a pretty penny. But in the grand scheme of things, if you're buying a Colt and you're sending it off, and I've done this multiple times, by the time you add up the cost of the gun, all of the parts, whether you're buying it from Wilson or you're buying it from Ed Brown, you're having the sights machined, you're having the beaver tail machined, the gun fitted, the slide of the frame, all that. You're in for some pretty serious bucks if the Smith knows what he's doing. So why not just buy the package up front and be done with it? Notice this is an original series Special Forces. I love that chain link pattern. And that's also on the mainspring housing. Clean and functional. There's the famous Ed Brown memory groove grip safety. Yes, he invented that. Everyone copied it. They usually leave off the grooves or something, or they're cast or MIM or whatever. You buy these guns because they're made with all tool steel. There's no shortcuts. Not that MIM's bad. If the company's reputable and the parts dimensioned and made properly, MIM is good. I'm not going to get into that debate, but you will pay a premium for tool steel or forged parts in a 1911. Just the way it is. And back in the day, I would buy usually all Ed Brown parts. Trigger, hammer, sear, disconnector, beaver tail, and have them fitted into Colts. And did that for the longest time. Or Wilson Combat. Wilson Combat always made great parts too. This one out of the box is like a 3.5. I mean, there is like nothing in click. Beautiful trigger pull. One thing I like about Ed Brown, the tolerances are tight, but don't compromise reliability. Now, I've had some customs and I've had a couple factory guns, Kimber, that have about 125 rounds. The slide starts moving real slow and you start getting failure to feed and failure to eject at certain round counts. Not this. This will keep going all day long, as many rounds as you can put through it. Well, I'm not bad-mouthing any brands of guns. I mean, each have their merit at their price point, but, you'd expect a $2,000 pistol 13 years ago to deliver the goods, and Ed Brown does. And his family who run the business. Notice the finish on this. Now, this has been heavily carried in Galco holsters. I've got so many Galco belt rigs, it's not funny, and Miami Classics. And this looks like the day I bought it. Whatever finish they're using on here, this has got to be one of the finest finishes I've ever had on a pistol. I mean, there is not a mark on this thing anywhere. And I don't put these things in cases. They hang out in my racks. I hang them on the wall. They're usually in holsters most of the time, ready to go, and been shot extensively, thousands of rounds. It always cleans up. Got the Ed Brown match barrel bushing, match barrel, impeccably fitted slide to frame. Came with Novak Low Pro tritium sights. I mean, it's perfect for me. One day I'll get to some of my other Colts. I've got factory Colts that are great, and a couple that I've customized, but figure I start with my baby right here. This is my favorite one. Love it. Love it. I forget who makes those G10 grips, but that was a recent upgrade within the last year or two. The original grips were these nice double diamond rosewood grips. Kind of more of a executive carry type grip, so I put more modern combat grips on there. I think those were made by VZ Grips. So, yeah, I know the new Special Forces, I can't imagine it being, still great guns. I just really like this particular one that I picked up. I will never, ever part with it. And that's just the bottom line. So, hope you enjoyed this. I like taking a walk down memory lane and talking about my times with 1911s. I cut my teeth on them. My dad carried 1911 when he was a deputy sheriff. He was a deputy for 36 years. And he took my brother and I out when we were 4 years old. And, had his hand wrapped around us. And we took our first shots through his 1911. I think he carried a Gold Cup. And this is in the 1970s. And it was always 45s for us for many, many years until we were old enough to start getting our own. So whether we were shooting them in competition or at the local pin shoot or out at the range or, local competitions, we always had our 1911s with us. And so did everyone else. Much later we got into CZ75s. They're great shooters, and nowadays we really have it real good. You've got a lot of pistols coming in the country, like the XD Elites, XDMs, match barrel. Those shoot great. A lot of the boutique Glock match barrels. I mean, we're really in a golden age where the competition gun is merging with the combat pistol. X crosses Y on a lot of these new builds. And, kind of started with these custom 1911s. This was the ultimate combat pistol, and then enhanced, it was unbeatable. So they still hold a place today. I think, seeing that the M45A1 that, Colt sold to the Marines, it's coming out of service. I think the 1911's finally had its day. But, always have a place in my heart. And, there's other guns now that I shoot more than this, to be honest with you. But I'll never part with it, or any of my other 1911s that I still have. I've sold off a couple of the more collectible ones. And speaking of which, a great thing if you get into 1911s is if you're able to purchase ones from different eras. A dark era Colt would be a 80s, late 80s strike era, where they weren't putting good finishes on the guns, or the 1991 first came out Parkerized because they didn't have anyone who could finish them anymore. Not that they were bad guns; they sold them cheap. I still have one here. I bought in 1991, and I think it was $350. But you get to the wartime production, World War II. I've had them made 1940, the brush blued ones, 1943 GHD, Parkerized, all original. GI take-homes in great shape, and you really marvel at the quality even of the wartime produced Colts. I mean, both of those had fantastic trigger pulls, even though the slide to frames usually don't match on them. They're usually a couple serial numbers off because of the way they were inspected, and they were fantastic pistols. I've had a couple World War I Colts, one of which I had Bill Adair restore to like new condition. That was fantastic. Bill Adair was one heck of a restorer. He had, I think, passed away about 10 years ago. And also had a pre-war national match with an adjustable rear sight that was brand new, unfired. You know, that thing had a collector value at that time of, I don't know, $8,500 or something. Something crazy. I mean, these were real nice, you know, Colt pistols. So you marvel at every era, you know, 1950s, 60s, you know, even the Series 70s. I've got a great custom built on a Series 70. It was an original Beaver custom. So, you know, 1911s are kind of in the blood. I don't have any real collectible ones anymore. They're all gone. I've sold them. You know, they're too valuable to shoot. So I've gotten practical in my old age. So I only keep the things I shoot nowadays and, you know, pass them on to other people to enjoy. Because the reality is they sit in a box and you take them out once a year, you oil them up, you marvel at them, but you do that for 10 or 12, 13 years, you know, it's not as special anymore. So sometimes you got to let some of those go and bring in some new blood and do the same. And mostly the ones I like to shoot now. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Ed Browns are great. Nighthawk customs are great. Wilson, Les Baer. They're all fantastic 1911s when you get to that level. And there's a slew of great custom builders out there that'll build you whatever you want. And so if you're in the 1911s, you can certainly, you know, run down that rabbit hole. I can highly recommend Ed Brown products. And if you like a no-frills combat pistol 1911, this is the one right here, brother. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and peace out.